Ria TV, True FM.
Okay, Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala, if you don't organize yourself in a grateful manner, we'll keep your better life.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
News summary at 12. My name is Hansen there represent. Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life that what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life that what I live. You know, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Both connecting those things.
Yeah, we are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just said,
today is Friday, March 14, 2025. A pleasant good evening. Welcome to News Desk for the 5 minutes of news from the News and Current Affairs Department here at the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. In our top development, National Elections Commission disclosed the approval of $2 million United States for the conduct of the Nima County senatorial by-election. Speaker of the 9th Parliament of Ghana, Aben Sumani Kinfo Aben, discloses or urges members of the Liberian House of Representatives to exhibit selflessness and lead by example in their duties. President Joseph Boakai appoints Sarah Assembly as acting Director General of the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority and suspended NAFA Director General Emma Gasco from a government for its failure to conduct investigation. Says her character was maligned without proof and away from Liberia. Man has been killed in a hit-and-run accident involving a vehicle in the motorcade of Kenyan President William Ruto. These plus many more sports, the reading of the news bulletin are all packaged on today's edition of the program News Desk. We'll take a break to be back.
Across Africa, a new era has begun, shifting our focus to a new horizon, connecting us with one purpose: to create and share opportunities to grow.
Powered by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited. At this point, Johnson Naketa Roberts will set the pace for the reading of the news bulletin. Good evening.
Good evening, Johnson. Good evening, everyone. The National Election Commission has disclosed that the government of Liberia has approved a budget of $2 million United States dollars for the conduct of the senatorial by-election in Nima County. Speaking during the candidate nomination exercise on today, the chairperson of the National Election Commission, Deveta Brown-Lassanan, said in keeping with the election key dates, the commission will publish the provisional list of candidates on March 17, 2025. The NEC boss also disclosed that NEC will launch civics and education campaign on the 21st of March, while the final list will be published on March 23rd, followed by the opening of official campaign activities in Nimba County. The election day is Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. The Speaker of the 9th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, Aben Sumana Kingsford Babin, has urged members of the House of Representatives to exhibit selflessness and lead by example in their legislative duties. Addressing recent impasse at the House of Representatives, Babin noted that parliamentary impasses are not unique only to Liberia. He encouraged both the majority and minority blocs to foster reconciliation, for the sake of peace and unity. Speaking at the Legislative Engagement Retreat 2025 at the Farmington Hotel in Margibi County, Babin emphasized that national growth and the well-being of the people depend on leaders prioritizing the public interest over personal gains. He further elaborated on the complexity of democracy, pointing out that why it allows the majority to have their say, it ultimately permits the majority to have their way. The Ghanaian speaker also expressed his appreciation for the warm hospitality extended to him and his delegation by the Speaker Richie Kun and members of the House since their arrival in Liberia. He concluded by urging Liberian lawmakers to embrace positive change guided by unity and peace. President Joseph Boakai has appointed Cyrus Singwe as acting Director General of the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority, NAFA. Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fofana said Singwe will serve in an acting capacity while Madam Emma Glasgow remains suspended by the Liberian leader. At the same time, suspended NAFA boss Emma Glasgow has termed the appointment of Cyrus Singwe as a political conspiracy and a complete disservice for her contribution to the country. The suspended NAFA Director General stressed that her character has been maligned without proof and there was no investigation conducted by the government. The office of the Vice President Jeremiah Cohn has announced the successful completion of the inaugural phase of its scholarship program. The initiative, according to the Vice President Office, has provided essential financial assistance to 380 students from 31 public and private higher learning institutions across Liberia. It is part of VP Cohn's commitment to education and student empowerment in line with government's dedication to fostering a brighter future for all Liberians, as articulated in the Arrest Agenda for Inclusive Development, the AAID. With an investment exceeding 64,000 United States dollars, the program aims to empower students with a grade point average, a GPA between 2.0 to 3.0, ensuring that financial barriers do not impede their academic aspirations. In a press release from the VP office, says to uphold high standards of accountability and transparency, the scholarship committee has implemented a rigorous selection process. The Vice President Chief of Office staff disclosed that the program has made a significant impact across several institutions, including the University of Liberia, the African Methodist Episcopal University, the Nimba Vocational Training Institute, Cottonton University, Nimba University, Bonn Technical College, Grand Bassa Community University, Grand Jida Community University, and the Booker Washington Institute, among others. The Liberia National Heritage and Cultural Development Association has launched a petition demanding the release of former Liberian President Charles Taylor, arguing that he was unfairly prosecuted by the Special Court of Sierra Leone. Taylor, who served as Liberia's president from 1997 to 2003, was convicted in 2012 and sentenced to 50 years imprisonment for aiding and abetting war crimes during Sierra Leone's brutal civil war. His trial marked a historic moment as he became the first African head of state to be convicted by an international tribunal. However, the LNHCDA asserts that Taylor was selectively targeted while others involved in the conflict were never held accountable. The LNHCDA, led by its founder and executive director, Solomon Wherewith, is seeking more than 2 million signatures from Liberians to support the call for Taylor's release. Once this target is met, the petition will be presented to Taylor's legal team for further submission to international prosecutors requesting and alleviating him from the case. In move aimed at strengthening bilateral ties, the majority leader of the Ghanaian parliament, Mohamed Ayuriga, paid a courtesy visit to Liberia's Minister of Justice, Councillor Uzwa Twe, at the Ministry of Justice in Monrovia. The visit provided a platform for discussions focused on exploring mutual benefits between the two countries, particularly in the areas of legal collaboration, trade, and governance. Both leaders expressed their commitment to enhancing diplomatic relations and identify key areas for future cooperation. Justice Minister Uzwa Twe highlighted Liberia's interest in sharing legal expertise with Ghana, while Ayaruga underscored the importance of fostering deeper ties between West African nations for regional stability and growth. This visit marks a significant step towards deeper collaboration between Ghana and Liberia, with both parties optimistic about the future of their partnership. The high power visiting Ghanaian delegation has already met with His Excellency President Joseph Boakai, the House's Majority Speaker Richard Kuhn, and other high-ranking officials. The Director General of the Center for National Documents and Records Agency, Dr. Nelson Branca, has identified capacity building as essential to the workforce development of the National Archive. Director Branca described manpower development as a critical tool for the growth and development of Liberia. Speaking Friday during an appreciation and gowning ceremony for a team of Harvard University on a mission to digitize the record that's covering the 12 years turning of former President Erling Johnson Sirleaf, the National Archives Director recommended the teaching of achiever science at tertiary institutions across the country. The Moroccan Embassy in Liberia has launched a program titled the Prétends de la Francophone for 2025 in Liberia. The Francophone mission to Liberia is to promote the French language, cultural, linguistic diversity, democracy, human rights, higher education, and economic cooperative for sustainable development in Liberia. Speaking during the launch of the program in Monrovia, the ambassador of Cameroon and doyen of the diplomatic corps, His Excellency Augustin Bayand Yilad Ghanid, said the occasion marks a significant movement in their shared commitment to promoting cultural diversity and reinforcing the core values of solidarity, peace, and cooperation that defines the Francophone community. He further stated that the La Francophone is more than just a linguistic space. It represents a vibrant network that unites individuals across continents through shared history, culture, and aspirations. The Executive Director for Democratic Empowerment and Economic Progress, Dr. Ibrahim Silu, is calling for collaborative efforts from Liberians aimed at eliminating poverty in the country. According to Dr. Silu, Liberia is one of the countries in Africa with less population and abundant resources, but its citizens are living in abject poverty because of divisive politics. Dr. Silu also blamed national government for its failure to educate citizens on the importance of nationalism and their national duties to the country. According to him, past and present governments have reneged on providing the enabling environment for citizens to learn. Instead, they prioritize providing jobs for foreigners. And out of Liberia now, a British man has been killed in a hit-and-run incident involving a vehicle in the motorcade of Kenya President William Ruto. The man, who has been named as 79-year-old Iga Charles Frederick, died on Thursday after being stuck in the accident on a main road in the capital, Nairobi. Police detained a driver who has since been released on bail. They said he was driving a support vehicle that was traveling at the wheel of President Ruto's official convoy. According to the police, the president's detail had passed by the time the accident occurred. Police spokesperson Markio Mashiri told the BBC that Mr. Frederick has been visiting Kenya to see his sister and nephew, who are residents of the country. The victim's next of kin has been informed, and a post-return is likely to be conducted later on Friday. The police said the driver who failed to stop after the incident would appear in court following an investigation. There have been an uproar on social media following Thursday incident, while Kenyans are accustomed to road being clear for the president motorcade. This time around, some have questioned why the convoy was so big and at such speed. And that's our CNN's bulletin. Is back to Johnson Gbarntolmah.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV.
Into Truth FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we'll take your plate like
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary of 12. My name is Johnson Gbarntolmah Naketa. Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life that what you see. I live a different life.
Bulletin, which is a regular feature here on News Desk. If you are just joining us in one of our top developments, President Joseph Boakai appoints Sarah Segbe as acting Director General of the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority, as suspended NAVA Director General Emma Glasgow franked at national government for its failure to conduct investigation. Says her character was maligned without proof. Let's bring you our first development on the program. The National Elections Commission has disclosed the government has approved a budget of $2 million United States dollars for the conduct of the Nimba County by-election. Speaking during the Kennedy nomination exercise on Friday, the chairperson of the National Elections Commission, Madam David Etterbrand-Lassanan, said, in keeping with the election key dates, the commission will publish the provisional list of candidates on March 17, 2025.
Pleased to inform the Liberian people through you, the media, that the government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, has approved a budget of $2 million United States dollars for the of the by-election. As we speak, active to the by-election are progressing according to plan. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, in keeping with our electoral key dates, the Commission will publish the provisional list of candidates on 17 March 2025. Additionally, on 21st March 2025, the Commission will officially launch the CVC, the Civic and Voter Education Prize, and the campaign for the by-election, while the final list of candidates for the by-election will be published on the 31st of March 2025, to be followed by the opening of political campaign period for the Nimba election. Liberians, mainly the people of Nimba County, let me remind you that election day is Tuesday, 22nd April 2025. I will now give you brief statistics in this election. The number of registered voters, 107,254. The number of voting precincts, 262. The number of polling places, 736. The number of polling staffers, more than 3,900. The number of magisterial offices in Nimba County, one in Saniquile and the other in Tapita, are 2. The number of electoral districts in Nimba County are 9.
She is the chairperson of the National Elections Commission, Madam David Etta Brown Laxon, and they are speaking during the Kennedy nomination on Friday. The Speaker of the Ninth Parliament of the Ghana, Abin Sumami, that's Sumana Kinfo Babin, has urged members of the Liberian House of Representatives to exhibit selflessness and lead by example in their duties. Addressing recent impasse at the House of Representatives, Babin noted that parliamentarian impasses are not only unique to Liberia. He urged both the majority and minority blacks to foster reconciliation for the sake of peace and unity.
Democracy is about agreeing to disagree. It means democracy is about the rule of law. That will be working this way. And that must be obeyed by Congress. So democracy is about the rule of law. And I'm here to go through your rule of law and guide you to find the right path.
He is the Speaker of the Ninth Parliament of Ghana. He's been Kinfo Babin there speaking during a retreat organized by the House of Representatives of Liberia. The Director General of the Center for National Documents and Record Agency, Nelson Benga, has identified capacity building as essential to the workforce development of national archives. The Benga described manpower development as a critical tool for growth and development of Liberia. Speaking Friday during an appreciation and garnet ceremony for a team of Harvard University, a mission to digitize the records of that's covering the 12-year tenure of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The National Archive Director recommended the teaching of archive science to tertiary institutions across the country.
I came and inherited this particular project and I will decide what is continuity. So when I came, the team from here to deliver me, they chose to give me the whole information. For equally so, I've been the head of the entity. I got to consult people who have passed us legally. So with the communication to the president's office, the president's office will forward the information to the justice ministry. By your information, finally the justice ministry has given me the go ahead to carry on the functions that we hold here of our female hero, the giant of Liberia, the mother of Liberia, in politics, in anything that we think of. That even when we want something, we'll come and consult her. That's why we pray that she may for long to pass or to pay all in the process. So two people will benefit. But this is some of our challenges that we want to tell you. Send the panels are here. You will hear it, but we'll try it through you because I don't like to bypass channel. It's you people that make us see it people coming to ACA. This is our challenge. We need empowerment. What is empowerment? We don't need money, but we need the very minds of the people that work with ACA through training. Training is one of the best things that we think can be offered us. Mental development is one of the key things that when all of us decide to relate with it, that bro will improve. So through you, we channel out, apply to you in the form of mini proposal so you can send it out to the panels that have come to everything. I want to say again, thank you because it's through you that they people visited us. And visiting the ACA, I think they saw it for themselves. There are many challenges out there. The repository that have to do with where all the records is so be kept, meaning you see the repository, the public records, and even the archival section. Those areas we need us. The world in all of that world, you don't have archival scientists. Why you think today let's say NAFA, right? Today they have sessions at the University of Liberia and they are teaching how to carry on fishery activities in Liberia. But for us, we don't have archival scientists. They even create a centers or sessions at the University of Liberia to teach archival science. So it's one of the challenges that we face with. And through you people and the panel that have come to really help us, we want to elevate this message to them so we can have some people to be taken from here and will be trained to come by and offer the service to Liberian people. That's the only way that will improve. Again, we want to say to you that there are a lot of challenges that we face with up to current with this current dispensation. We stay using analog, stay using paper to even process documents. So this kind of thing is really a function of us. And we hope and pray that when we submit some of our documents to you, we elevate to another level, not just let's say Harvard alone. Because we know the manner that you
Is at its zenith. So it means that the abundance of resources that God has blessed this country, the lack of true nationally individuals who love this country, and the sophistication of the brain has led us to where we are being rated a poorest in the world. So we look at this from the behavior pattern. That's why we say we look at the sociological, even though some will also want to consider the psychological component and the anthropological component of our setting, but all of them will interwove in what we're about to discuss today. So as a nationalist, we expect that every person listening to us today will have someone tune in. We begin to group ourselves and get prepared for another cycle where we will see corrupt officials, corrupt individuals, criminals that will be coming to provide some services in the community and bring us loud right trades that we carry this country into another miserable, disappointing 6 years after the election 2029. So, do we need to understand as a society? Let's begin with a nationalistic agenda, and we look at symbols that are nationalistic. As a country, we believe that this country carry a flag that bears 3 colors. For centuries, flag have been used by country as symbols of recognition and to show their allegiance. Now, the question is, are Liberian?
He is the Executive Director for Democracy Empowerment for Economic Progress, Dr. Abraham the First, the speaking on our sister program here on Truth 96.1. He also blamed past the present government for reneging to providing the enabling environment for citizens to learn, instead by prioritizing or providing jobs for foreigners.
It is justice and symbolizing that the society, Liberia, believes in the rule of law. So if you have your branch of government or the legislative branch of government that should be able to propagate laws and live by laws, will be defining itself as a tyrannic environment, that will be defining itself as an environment for mutiny. And what you see today in the history of Liberia, you have 2 speakers purporting to be speakers who came from a mutiny environment, come as someone who rebels. That is Richie Kuhn, which for those of us who are nationalistic and believe in education and the rule of law would never ever accept, and anybody who define themselves in violence, breaching policies and laws in order to attain power. We will not accept it, because that is the very essence of the discussion today. We cannot sit to allow individuals to circumvent the law, the practices of the branch of legislators. And that also was supported by the Senate, because the Senate cooperated with that group of mutinists.
Dr. Abraham Samaselu is the Executive Director of the Democracy Empowerment for Economic Progress, the speaking on Truth FM and today. The Moroccan Embassy in Liberia has launched a program named Start the Princeton de la Francophonie for 2025 in Liberia. The Francophone mission to Liberia is to promote the French language, cultural, linguistic diversity, democracy, human rights, and higher education and economic cooperative for sustainable development in Liberia. Speaking during the launch of the program in Monrovia, the ambassador of Morocco and the doyen of the diplomatic corps, Augustin Banayala Ghana, said the occasion marks a significant movement in their shared commitment to promote cultural diversity and reinforcing the core values of solidarity, peace, and cooperation that define the Francophone community.
Organized the Printemps de la Francophonie in Liberia this year, probably for the first time since I was here. We have had other celebrations of Francophonie in Liberia, so it doesn't mean that we never did anything. But when I come here and it's a communication time, I'm happy to see the journalists because we did not come here to talk to ourselves. The Francophone is about establishing areas of French language at the same, but also it tolerates a lot of divergences and differences, and that is why the prospects of Liberia becoming part of this family are particularly interesting, and I rely upon the journalists here present to expand, amplify, and propagate the seed. For after the spring comes summer, the time of harvest, so it will be very bad if we had a printer and we didn't have été. So we came here to learn a little bit of French for those who don't know. Été is the summer, so the summer follows the winter, the spring. In Cameroon, we have just finished celebrating this day as well as the Commonwealth Day because Cameroon is bilingual, so we take it very serious. In my younger days as a diplomat, I used to go to various parts of Cameroon to expound Francophonie family message. My country was not initially a full member of the Francophonie, but we were members of the École de Bordeaux. And so for countries like Liberia that aspire to join they may not look at it only as a language invitation to join their brothers in other cultures, but that if this École Internationale de Bordeaux still continues in initial principles, there are occasions for you to get training for young people. There are also occasions for you to participate in the Jeux de la Francophonie, which is like the Commonwealth game, time to assemble different peoples from different places, and with limited sponsorship, you can get international exposure to your journalists. The education aspect is also very high, and the human rights aspect also is very prominent, as the ambassador of Côte d'Ivoire said. So in coming to sow this seed of the Francophonie, we believe that the fertilization will be done by both the Francophone ambassadors here, but especially by the host country, or else this meeting would not be born the fruit for which it was done. So we wish you a very wonderful event de la Francophonie, Printemps de la Francophonie, and unity and mutual respect to people. And let me also note that in the Francophonie, although sometimes French is highlighted, there is tolerance also for expansion of our native languages, our native cultures, and our film and musical production. So there are channels for you to exploit profitably in aspiring to be closer to the Francophonie.
He is Cameroon ambassador to Liberia. He's Augustine Benayala Guinea. They're speaking during the launch of the Princeton's de la Francophonie 2025 in Liberia. Representing the Liberian government, the Minister of Agriculture, Alexander Nuta, thanked the Cameroon government for the partnership with the government of Liberia, and at the same time calling on the Cameroon government to help promote the agricultural sectors of Liberia.
I'm happy that the ambassador invited us here. I know Morocco is one of our critical partners today. I remember when I was in Morocco in January, we had some fruitful discussion, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and there was a lot of cooperation agreement signed between the government of Morocco and the government of Liberia, represented by the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And I did follow up, and we had a full delegation, and I'm happy that after that meeting, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture of Morocco extended an invitation that we will be honoring in April to an important function. But one thing I realized is that there are great potential for collaboration between Morocco and Liberia. And Morocco has been very supportive. You know, last year, Morocco sponsored our stock assessment. That assessment led to the development of our fishery, report. Tells us what we have in our waters, the real waters, tells us we think that was a good help from for Morocco and the government. We also know that the people of Morocco have been doing some great engagement with Liberia. I know we had engagement at the EU. Liberia supported Morocco. We have to become head of the African Union. So it tells you that Liberia has great regard for the people of Morocco and the government of His Majesty the King and our president. I think there are prospects that there will be some engagement in the future to foster the relationship between Morocco and Liberia. We want to say thank you, but remember you have good friends in Liberia, and we depend on the connection, the strengthening relationship between your embassy and our different institutions, especially for the Ministry of Agriculture, where we'll be interacting. And we want to assure you that we will always respond to your calls, and we look forward to more collaboration with some of our students, especially in the area of agriculture. We are there from what is happening in Moroccan institutions. We know Morocco has been capacity in the area of fisheries. We want to be able to see how the government of Liberia and the kingdom of Morocco can collaborate, see how some of the exchanges are stepping where Moroccan fishermen fish.
He is Minister of Agriculture, Alexander Nuta, there speaking on behalf of the Liberian government. Earlier on, heard the voice of Augustin Benayala Guinea, who is the ambassador of Morocco. There speaking, he spoke at the launch of the Prince de la Francophonie 2025 in Liberia, intended to promote the French language as cultural and linguistic diversity in Liberia. To this development, the Liberia National Heritage and Cultural Development Association has launched a petition demanding the release of former Liberian President Charles Taylor, arguing that he was unfairly prosecuted by the Special Court for Sierra. The organization, led by its founder and executive director Solomon Weah, is seeking more than 2 million signatures from Liberia to support the call for the release of former Liberian President Charles Taylor. We sincerely apologize we cannot bring you that episode here tonight, but this is how we go home on today's edition of the program News Desk. But as we take leave of you, a recap of our major developments. And thanks for rejoining us. National Elections Commission discloses the approval of $2 million United States for the conduct of the Lima County senatorial by-election. Speaker of the 9th Parliament of Ghana urges members of the Liberian House of Representatives to exhibit selflessness and lead by example in their duty. President Joseph Boakai appoints Sarah Sengwe as Acting Director General of the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority, as suspended NAFA boss Emma Glasgow frowned at national government for its failure to conduct investigation, says her character was malign without proof, and a British man has been killed in the hit-and-run incident involving the vehicle in the motorcade of Kenyan President William Ruto. We'd love to say many thanks to our writers, contributors, correspondents for making today's edition of the program a success. Special thanks to a 3-day radio station for relaying this broadcast. Thanks to Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited for their sponsorship. Naketa Roberts was here with the reading of the news bulletin. Daniel Soni Salah controlled and produced our sounds. Myean was behind the camera. My name is Johnson Gbarntolmah. News Desk is taking its usual weekend break to be back fresh on Monday. Join us if you can.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Boakai if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we'll keep your data Liberia.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
News summary of 12. My name is Johnson Gbarntolmah Naketa. Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life that what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life that what I live, you know, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Roads, connecting roads in this country.
Yeah, we are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Always make sure to turn on to our
Myean TV and listening to Truth FM 96.1.